Here we are at Collier's, 1871. Gotta love it. What I really love is the floors. They're so old and wonderful. So Phil, Collier's was started in 1871. I can't believe that. What can you tell us about the beginnings?
A little bit of the beginning was not just a hardware store. It's more of a general store. A gentleman from Yuba City built the building on a request from John Bidwell, because John Bidwell's office was across the street. According to the little bit of historical things we can find, General Bidwell thought the downtown was moving away from him and he wanted more at this end of town. So he convinced Mr. Jones to build the building and put a general store downstairs, and put half of the upstairs was Masonic Lodge and the other half of the upstairs second floor was Oddfellows. So they built a two-story building in 1871.
And how much of the building that exists in 2021 is part of the original structure? Like the Blue Room Theater and...
The Blue Room Theater, that part is the original 1871 part. So the upstairs then was divided in half. The other part of the building, the second part of the building, was built in 1926. Also by this time by the Masonic Lodge, and it was three-story building. And they put a general store downstairs, same thing. There was a tractor at the bottom, tractor retailer at the back of the store. And then the second floor of the new building was a cafeteria for the Masonic Lodge, full kitchen, full everything. Third floor was a lodge meeting facility. And then the Oddfellows were still on the other side. Eventually that went over, and the original side of the building, the two stories, was used for the youth program in the Masonic Lodge. The Job's Daughters and what's the Masonic? De Malay.
De Malay. Right. I adore the floors here. So are they the original floors? How old are they?
Best of our knowledge, they're the original floors. The interesting thing is when we've done some remodeling, like upstairs, and the wood is absolutely fantastic. The carpenters that take it out are just amazed. It's just straight grain, beautiful wood. They all want to save it, and they do take it. So.
Are you any relation to the Jones family?
No relationship at all. There's been different owners throughout the time, different names of the store. So no, I just was one of those lucky guys that happened to start working here when I was going to Chico State, and then continued on from there.
Who was the owner then when you started?
There was a partnership. Jack Bowen and Cecil Hitt were the two partners at that time.
And when was that, when you started working?
I started working here in 1956, the summer of 1956.
What were you majoring in at Chico State?
Education.
Were you a teacher?
Yep, taught for 3 years and worked here on Friday nights and Saturdays.
And what did you teach?
Summer. 7th grade, core program at Chico Junior High School.
To me, that's the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life, is teach junior high students, because they're so bigly.
I always had a philosophy. You had a better luck with 7th graders. 7th graders you could intimidate for the year. 8th graders were sort of obnoxious. And then you had a little leverage on 9th graders, because they wanted to go to high school.
The 9th graders, in my experience, were very civilized. They came back totally different than the 8th graders. Yeah. So what made you switch after those 3 years of teaching? You worked here full time?
No. That's when I was offered to come in as a partner after those 3 years. So I came in as a partner 3 years, 1963.
So how many partners were there?
Cecil Hitt, the original partner, stayed, and I came in as a partner with him. And then Cecil had a heart attack in 1970, 71, and then he retired. So from that time on, I've had the store, or family has had the store.
And how is your family involved?
Well, my sons now operate the store. They own the store. I'm sort of out of it.
You have two sons?
Three.
Three. They all work in the store?
They have all worked in the store. One of them is leaving because of some problems that he has to take care of with an estate problem. So he may not be with us much longer.
How was that working as a family? I mean, it's a different relationship, boss, employee, father, son. How did that work out?
Fortunately, it worked out. The only way we felt it could work is each person was given their assignment. So one took care of hardware, one took care of electrical, one took care of the books, one took care of homewares, so they didn't overlap each other trying to do it. So it worked that way, and then about every 2 years or 3 years they'd switch.
Wow.
So that one wouldn't always be stuck doing the same thing.
So they learned the whole store.
They knew the whole store, absolutely.
And did you have regular meetings to talk about where we want to go and how it's going and that kind of thing?
Oh, you always have little side meetings.
They were kind of informal.
Oh, yeah. And then we'd have meetings, usually around a dinner or something, and everybody would spout their piece, and away we'd go.
Mm-hmm. What about your wife, the
always
wives
tried
of the
to
sons?
keep the wives out of the store.
Because?
Just that we just thought it would work better if it was just the boys doing it, and the wives all had jobs. So it really worked good that way. They don't necessarily try to socialize all that much together. They do, holidays and that type of thing, but the rest of the time, no. So they all have their independent lives away from the store.
Mm-hmm. And what's been the influence of online marketing, the big box stores? I don't know when, like, Home Depot and Lowe's came to Chico. Do you remember?
I remember them coming because they brought in a group of about 7, 8 guys that went through our store, and
just to see what your inventory was?
Right. And when they left, one of the guys said, "Don't worry, you'll survive. You're a unique hardware store. We're not going to kill you." They cut into us a little bit, but they didn't really just totally kill us like we thought they might. The online is a much more troubling type of thing. It's pandemic didn't help, but more and more people like the convenience of that, where it can just bounce on their porch and they don't have to shop, they don't have to fight traffic, they don't have parking meters, they don't have all the other things that go with being downtown.
But what you have is I can come in and say, I need to have some rat repellent, and I want something that's like this,
Right.
this, and this, and your person can say, well, we've heard really good things about that, and you can't get that from the big box stores or
That's the only
online.
thing that's going to make you survive is the personal service. That's what we felt. That's why we've always geared it to have personal service.
Like you have so many more employees on the floor per
Right.
square foot than the big box stores,
Absolutely.
where you have to look for 10 minutes to find someone to help you.
And that's the only way we're going to survive, is to have some sort of, that's our bailiwick that we picked, was the personal service. That we thought would be the easiest to beat them at. If Home Depot wanted to cut prices, they're so big they could cut prices in Chico, and all their other stores would carry their loss. Lowe's has the same thing. So they can do things that we're just too small to do. That probably the only thing we've got against them is personal service. A lot of products we match them item for item. Some products, if they want to sell it low, they're going to just sell it low and go with it. There are across the board things. Some of the things were lower than they are. Some of them were higher than they are. But we have no intention of fighting them on a price situation.
The other thing is, if I can come here and buy one screw,
Right.
and I can't do that at the big box stores.
That's true. That's always been our big connection is you can buy one of something, two of something, and they've got to have packaging. They've got to have a high production per square foot because it's volume that they're after.
Right.
Yes, they're good competitors.
So you're staying in business. You're thriving,
Sure.
especially, and it seems like what COVID did, it made people really focus on home development, remodeling. So you didn't see a pickup because of that?
We saw a beginning of that where we had a lot of people buying homewares things and some barbecues and that type of stuff.
And baking, making bread, stuff.
All the things you can think of that you would do. Canning. I mean, canning jars. The whole United States couldn't get canning jars. People were canning things that they never thought they'd can in their lives. So yes, people put in their own gardens. They did all of these things. We don't know what's going to happen next. It'll be interesting because the whole dynamics of retail sales have changed a little bit. We're really interested to see if people will start shopping downtown again because they've been basically away for a year. We were fortunate enough to be designated an essential store, so we did not have to close during the COVID-19. Everybody had to wear a mask and do all the procedures, but we didn't have to close. So that helped us in that degree. But we're not seeing the traffic in downtown right now. We're really interested in seeing what happens when Chico State opens up again and the schools open up again, because that changes the whole traffic patterns.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, parents have to take their kids to the high school. Chico State's floating. I mean, there's just I don't know how many employees does Chico State have? 4,000, 5,000 people. I mean, you're taking care of 16,000 students, so if you take all their plan op, their janitors and their faculty and everything put together, that's a big influx of people.
Right.
And with all the students coming back, we're hoping all the apartments get occupied, that they also spend money, because they do have money, or seem to have.
Yeah.
That might make a big change. I hope it changes the whole dynamics of what's going on.
So are you a corporation or a limited partnership, or how did
Corporation.
And the corporation owns this whole building complex?
No. The corporation owns the business. We did not put real estate into the corporation because real estate in the corporation is sort of hard to get in and out of. The building is owned by a partnership, uniquely. Guess who owns the partnership?
The boys.
No, the boys and Dad. And that one. So, yeah, it's called Luceno Partners, and we own the building.
Got it.
Yeah.
You've really been at the heart of Chico over decades. Any ways that you've seen it change for good or for bad?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I mean, well, you asked me to think of stores that have been around. All the stores when I started in the 50s and 60s basically are not here anymore. I mean, Ozier's was trademark of downtown Chico for years and years and years, and it's gone.
It's a department store.
The department stores. I mean, there was Parker Homeware. Well, let's go back. When I was starting in the 50s, 60s, there was Parker Hardware, Chico Hardware, Nichols Hardware, and Collier Hardware, all downtown.
Wow.
So drastic changes. I mean, we had Sierra Stationeries that had been there for years. We had shoe stores. Find me a shoe store in downtown Chico, other than athletic type things. I mean, a total shoe store. So the whole retail has changed. Primarily downtown today, we feel is a restaurant and bar combination. Retail, we have some great independent people that have been in business. That we've some jewelry stores that are really good that have stayed in business.
Clifford's.
Well, Clifford's is gone.
Oh.
Remember, they were here for years and years. You've got Kirk's and you got Madeline Nolta over at Cabaret Ferrar jewelry store. I was thinking the other day when you mentioned other stores, the only other store that I can remember that goes back to the 1900s is Pullen Cyclery.
Oh, Pullen's.
Yeah,
oh.
right there in the corner of, what is that, 8th and Main.
Main.
Right.
So there's a Northern Star Mills,
That's
Collier's, Brucey's is old but not 19th century,
No.
and Schubert's is 1940s.
right. I think I talked to Steve from Poland. I think it goes back to about 1910, 13, somewhere in that range.
And is that family owned or not?
I think Stephen owns it. It's gone through different families. It's not an outside source.
So last question, if you were talking to someone who wanted to be their own entrepreneur and start their own retail store now, what advice would you give them?
Think hard. If they've got a great concept or whatever it is that they have, probably the biggest problem a lot of people make is not having enough money.
To get through that first year of not making it.
How about the first 5 years?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the first year is great, but you've got to survive, I would say, 3 to 5 years of really going at it to make it. And that's a big case of financing. You just can't come in on, I don't think you can survive anymore on just a shoestring. Some of the restaurants try it. If you notice how many restaurants turn over, and they can just really do well for a year, maybe a year and a half, and then if it becomes a little stale or slows down a little bit, they don't have enough to carry them through that next wave. It's difficult to do. Product would be something that would really be a difficult thing to do.
Do you by chance have any old pictures of Collier's?
Yep, do have.
How do we see them?
We have them right here.
All right, let's look at them.
I don't know how you want to do this, but
Maybe if we put them on the desk.
there's one.
And what year is this from?
That's way back there. I don't know what year that was taken. Quite obviously it was taken before 1928 because the other building's not there. So if you put those side by side with that, and somehow I lost all my literature. Matter of fact, we're starting a search.
What year do you think this is?
It'd have to be after 1928. We've had some people try to tell us what year cars those were. So I know this is before 1956 because all the windows have been changed. The arches were taken out in 1956, 57. The only reason is because I was here and I knew that. That's basically the same photograph as that one. I don't know which ones we have here.
So this is what Collier's is now. It's here.
This whole section. This is Broadway here. This is First Street. See, and this used to be a Texaco service station behind us where the parking lot is. So here's your first floor, second floor, third floor, and a little balcony above.
And that was all the Masonic.
That was the Masonic, right.
Got it.
And we... well, actually, we had to protect ourselves. We bought the store when the Masonic Lodge moved out to East Avenue. And don't ask me the year, because I never remember.
Do you have a picture of the staff, the guys?
No.
Who's this?
That's number 3 son with grandson.
Oh. I haven't really seen him around.
He's here.
Okay.
Somewhere.
Oh, look, is that a wagon?
Yeah, that is. I'm trying to make sure that that's the... I'm not sure that's our store, though. It's not, because those aren't arches.
Okay. But it's downtown Chico.
Yeah, that's downtown Chico. Yeah, so those are the ones I have.
Great. Thank you. I mean, you don't see this in big box stores, all these little nooks and crannies.
No.
And you have like storage down here too.
Yeah.
My God, this place is huge.
We got another basement on the other side too.
Oh my
Sorry.
goodness.
Are you still there? Did it